Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to today's video. Today's video is actually something I've been looking forward to do for a while. This is playing with Richter Belmont in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It's my favorite character. I've been maining him. I kind of wanted to go through some of the basics because this would be my first how-to playthrough, especially on Super Smash Bros. If there's any other type of characters you guys want me to play with, definitely let me know. But we're gonna first talk about some of the basics that we have with him. Richter Belmont, obviously, as we know, is the vampire killer. His main thing is having the whip. Now, the first thing I want to state about Richter Belmont is that Richter Belmont's normals, if not the best, is one of the best normals in the game, and the reason is mainly because of the reach he has. His whip really far extends, as you can see here. Even his smashes are pretty good, especially that up smash. So I definitely love abusing the zoning game when it comes to using Richter Belmont. So that's the first thing I wanted to talk about in regards to Richter Belmont with his whip. Doing basically short hops and normals with Richter is actually very good to do, especially with his gameplay, just because his normals have such long reach. They also do very good damage. So it's like those smashes are pretty legit. Obviously, because you're not doing a very high jump, you're not going to do as much damage and launch, but those type of essentially normals can really launch a character. So when you're trying to get rid of people or get people away, it definitely is one of those things that it's useful to use. His whip can go in all directions essentially. It can go basically downward, it could go upward, it can go, you know, horizontal, it could go vertical. It covers all range. You have to be a little more, you have to be accurate when you're doing the launches to kind of know where and when where they're going to be. Like you see that one, I knew he was going to basically land in the center. So instead of doing a downward hit, I did a horizontal one. I might need to run in that case, but yeah, so on and so forth. I just wanted to discuss that. I didn't discuss it previously, so I kind of wanted to give you guys some insight on his normals and his short hops and how valuable they can be, especially when it comes to putting pressure. The next thing I wanted to talk about was the projectile canceling that he can do with his whip. His whip actually has a property of canceling projectiles, which is pretty awesome. So when it comes to like trying to get to a character, you can actually use your whip to travel through them if they're using projectiles. You can also use his dash, but you just have to make sure that it's active frames. One thing I want to talk about is essentially Richter Belmont's getaway tactics, which is, it applies to Simon, but I use Richter because I like him. Obviously you can see he has a purple outfit, it's my favorite color. But a lot of his outs, his defensive outs are also aggressive ones. They can be aggressive if you want to. So like his first thing that I want to discuss was his baseball slide. If you press down and you press the regular normal attack, you do one slide. If you press it twice, you do the double slide going upward. Now, a lot of people see this in purposes for attacking, which it can be. It can be used for purposes of attacking, but the thing is, I just wanted to kind of show that quick three-piece you can do. You can use it for escape tactics because it kind of gives you a position where it's like you can throw something and then run away and also be aggressive still in that respect. The very last thing I want to talk about when it comes to also survivability is when he grips the ledge. It has a lot of distance, guys. Like, look at that distance. That distance is really impressive. It leaves a lot of room for error, which is what I love about this guy. So whenever you're having issues and you need to get back on the map, the whip is going to be your friend. Let's do an assessment. I'm curious as to how many yards it kind of covers. It almost covers the entire area here from 15. Almost from 15. 7 yards, maybe? It's a decent amount, guys. It covers a lot of ground. So there are times where I think I'm not going to make it, and I make it. The other thing is, when it comes to doing the survivability thing, doing a straight whip would be nice, but there's times that it does miss it. I try to do it underneath at times, because underneath I feel like I can actually achieve it, so I shoot upward. That's just a preference by me. So now the next thing we can actually talk about is his specials. He has a few good specials and a lot of them are projectiles, so that's what I kind of like about specifically Richter Belmont, is because he's really good when it comes to close range, but he's also really good when it comes to far range. So the first thing I want to talk about is the Holy Water property. Holy Water, basically, don't underestimate this move. This move is going to lead you to a lot of bread and butters, so it's something that you need to utilize a lot. There is something odd about it, and the reason I picked the training stage was to kind of show it. If you press down B, it does a weird physical property of like basically gliding. I don't use this a lot. There's very few stages you will see that is actually useful. So I actually avoid like using Holy Water when I'm on the ground. What I tend to do is I tend to jump and throw it, because I know the predictability of this. I know the predictability of throwing that Holy Water, so it's a really good thing. And basically when they get caught in that scenario, you can start doing combos on it. So that's like one of those things that I definitely want to discuss later, but I will tell you right now that the Holy Water is your bread and butter, so definitely do not underestimate that. The next thing I want to discuss is the Boomerang, or the cross. Now this is a really good move. This will basically be your zoning tactic when it comes to it if you start using Holy Water and the cross in tandem. So you can do something where you kind of set that to protect yourself, and then you do that, and then you'll throw a neutral to kind of, you know, add that whole complexity of all this zoning area that you're basically taking coverage, or basically you're owning it as a character. So it's a really good way of being away from the opponent but putting pressure. So a perfect example is if they blocked it or if they rolled it, the cross is going to come to them. So it puts them in a position where it's like they have to be aware of it coming back. And since it's coming back and you know it, you can actually be aggressive, because if they try to counter you in any form or fashion, you could essentially expect that to hit them. The last thing I did want to discuss essentially about the cross is that depending on if you press the direction at the same time or you're just doing it lightly, it determines how far it goes. So I usually use it aggressively, where I want it to go the farthest it possibly can. So that's kind of the thing I do. So I press forward and the special button B at the same time. That's something to keep in mind. So if you look at the distance really quick, it covers 10 meters. And if you just do it regular, it covers maybe 7 to 6, somewhere between there. So, or whatever this is called. I don't know if this is meters or yards. I'm just saying meters. Ignore it if it's not. I don't know. But the numeric value on this distance, that's maybe, is it feet? Maybe 1, 2, 3, who knows? But if you hear, whatever the number is that you hear me say is the number that we should, I'm referring to. With Richter, you can play a lot of mind games, and that's one of the things I definitely do love about him. Is if you know you're gonna be defensive, you can do some really crafty things, especially with the cross. You can do something where you could throw it in the other direction and keep dashing, and then eventually he's gonna have to block, and then you can attack from the other side. If he decides to attack, you already kind of put him in that trap position where they're gonna have to do something about the cross before they actually worry about you. So that's one of the things that I really do like. They can do escape tactics where they can try to go to you, but at that point, maybe if you got them already in the trap, it would be too late at that point. So it really depends about people knowing the trap and your playstyle to see if, oh, this is how I can avoid it, if they know how to do it. But this is a really good thing to confuse the opponent, especially when the item isn't coming directly to them. If it's coming directly to them, or if they're blocking a lot, I actually suggest you doing this, so it kind of puts them in a weird state, like, why did that person throw it in that other direction? And before you know it, you actually put them in a certain position where they start getting confused, and then you can start mixing it up and doing really good mix-ups with stuff. So then you can do that, and you know, so on and so forth. Look at that. Poor guy. The next move I want to talk about is essentially the up B. It's his uppercut. If you know from the old Castlevania games, he had that. This is a really good move, especially when it comes to getting back into the ring, or essentially just attaching more combos to it. So I actually like using this a lot. Here. You see, that's a good way of doing a simple combo where you can do a lot of damage, but you attach the up B. The up B is a really good way when you also want to kind of like avoid certain things. I use it, I kind of use it sporadically. I know when I'm gonna, like, if I'm gonna hit something and I know I'm gonna attach, I definitely use it frequently. Alright, the next thing I want to talk about is actually his neutral special, which is basically the axe. If you do it neutral, it covers 5 to 6 yards. If you press forward with it after you toss it, or after you initiate the toss, it does around 8. Does a decent amount. And if you do it by pulling away from the opponent, it actually does it closer. So it does like 4. So it's like 4 to 8 meters it kind of covers, which is a really good distance. If you wanted to get further, obviously you would jump and throw it. And then that would basically, once you know the arc and the location of where you want to hit someone, you'll be able to do that to kind of delegate that. So you could do something to set some ground rules and then start throwing that. So I really love this. The important thing about this neutral smash is that it is your special that does the most damage. So if you're trying to get someone out of the stage, this will most likely do the trick if you're not using your smashes with the whip. 18% damage, so that's really good. If we start covering how much each one does as damage, that does 18.5. And this one does 15.6. I wonder if it changes if we don't press forward. I'm curious. 1 second, guys. Okay, yeah, it definitely does matter. And it also does like a stronger hit back, which is pretty cool. The next thing I did want to talk about with Richter, which is very important when it comes to playing with him, especially when you want to kind of get an opponent off the stage, is about edge guarding. Richter has one of the best edge guarding in the game because all of his moves are basically throw items where it basically protects anyone from coming back onto the stage. So you can throw fire on the ledge, if I could time it right. You could throw the crossbow, you could throw the axe. And the cool thing about the axe, as an FYI, is that it goes through walls. It actually goes through floors, all that stuff. So you can actually, like, that is a perfect scenario of doing edge guarding with Richter. Like, this covering this area right here is so easy. You don't even have to worry about it. You can actually press a little early just in case. You can throw the holy water. This is a good scenario of basically doing edge guarding with Richter. So I just wanted to kind of state that when you're doing edge guarding with him, you can edge guard and you don't have to put yourself at risk. So it's a really nice thing that Richter has this. So this is one of the things that makes me enjoy playing with Richter a lot, is specifically that there's a lot of reward and very little risk on the things that he does, and it kind of makes it very good. I honestly think he's a really good top tier character. That's my personal opinion. But I just love playing with him so much because of it. There's so much utility with everything that he does. And the more you play with him, the more you find out about those things. So I want to go now to the next thing, which is essentially going to be the more advanced techniques / combo setups that we could kind of do. Alright, so the next thing I want to do is kind of some discussions on combos. The first one I want to do is a simple grab. It's a simple grab 2-whip hit. This is the very simplest one. That is a basic combo right there. It does 34% damage, really good damage, and if you wanted to kind of do something simple, especially when you're initiating a battle with someone that's at 0%, this is very easy to do. You can kind of do this also with the other percentages, I'm pretty confident. Let's do an assessment. Yeah, you just would have to jump higher, essentially. So the earlier combo that we kind of showed when we started doing the combos, you can also do an attachment of an uppercut, which I kind of wanted to show. And it does a little more damage. Really cool. The next one I want to discuss is essentially Holy Water with just a straight dash. Just let's see how much damage that does. Pretty good. That's 31 right there. That's another one to actually, that's another good meaty one. The next combo, this is kind of a combo if you're just trying to show off in regards to like, it does like the most combo set that I know of with Richter. If you guys have another one, definitely let me know. But I just use it like if I'm goofing off with someone and I feel confident on it, but it's essentially this. Like that. The most I think I've done it so far is maybe at to 29. This other one I like is another grab, but basically you're setting it up with the boomerang and then just tossing them up there. And it does like 40% damage, which is really good. The next combo I want to talk about is essentially throwing the cross, and then before it actually comes back to you, do the dash attack and then uppercut. So we're going to do this right now so you guys can see. And then you can do There you go. So you do 11 hits with that. That's a pretty decent amount. The next thing I want to talk about is like a setup for basically one of the bread and butter combos we kind of already discussed. You can do something where you can do a jump kick and then you can throw some holy water and do a dash. I like doing that. So that followed by a dash. You could do it again if you want to. Just basically juggle at that point. And then you can do some variations if you wanted to. Something like that. It's a really basic thing, but it's fairly cool. I like doing it. You can do that variation as well. You kind of pick your poison on what type of combo you want to do, but there's so many variations you can do at Richter, which is really cool. This is another combo that I do like. It's basically throwing the crossbow, then the holy water, and then doing the upbeat combo. Well, that pretty much sums up this playthrough of how to play with Richter. Thank you guys so much for watching and checking this video out. I hope this was kind of informative. You probably learned, maybe you knew some tricks, maybe you got some other ones just by watching this video. Shout out to all you guys for taking the time to look at this video. Let me know what you guys think. Leave comments, share the content. Come join us on Discord, you know, all that good stuff, guys, if you really are enjoying yourself watching these videos. I love hearing from you guys. It's pretty awesome that we get to do these how-to, and also we're learning. So I'm learning, you're learning, we're all kind of getting an idea of how these characters. I'm definitely going to do some more because I want to do analysis breakdowns on all characters so I can actually become better, specifically with Richter, because I would love to know how to counter each character. So the more we do these playthroughs or how-to playthroughs, like with this character and this character, we're actually going to master Richter in the end. So it's kind of a really good benefit. Or we might pick a secondary character, you know, not a main. Who knows? But yo, shout outs to you guys for watching this video, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, if this is your first time here and you're watching from YouTube, definitely be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you ever come to Twitch, definitely be sure to hit that follow button. Come join us on Discord. The link is below in the YouTube description. Also, last but not least, I want to say major shout outs to the sponsors. Shout outs to Tuba Cody, Robot Space Ninja, Sweet Venom, Trudgeonator, Don Vella, and Melphis X for financially supporting the stream. If you guys also wanted to financially support the stream, definitely be sure to check out that YouTube description below. There is a Patreon link. And if you can't support financially, don't worry, guys. There's other ways you can actually show support. That's getting the word out, sharing the content, letting friends and loved ones know about this this channel. Tell them to come and hang out. Come join us on Discord. You will not regret it. It's the best community/family ever. It says it right there on the freaking board. Yo, thank you guys so much for hanging out. I love you guys so much, and I will catch you guys next time. Let me know in the comments below what you would like to see next, what you think about the video, and so on. I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.